What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Not for Debate. I know it's been a while since we've actually put out something, but I got my boy Wes here. What's going on, Wes?
Yo, long time coming, baby. What's going on?
A long time no here, man. Obviously, we got a lot of things going on in the world. We got free agency just started up. Like we got a lot to talk about, man. Really got a lot to talk
Yo,
about.
free agency is nuts so far. So far. And I don't even think we've seen the biggest move yet that's gonna happen. DeAndre Hopkins, that's the biggest move by far in free agency. But before we get into all that, let's talk about all everything that we missed. Basically, the playoffs, the Super Bowl. Let's get into that. What's your thoughts and feelings on what happened in the Super Bowl?
To be honest, Kyle Shanahan again screwed up in the Super Bowl.
Right. I mean, obviously, but did you think that was going to happen in the beginning of the playoffs that the Chiefs would go on a run like that?
After the Patriots ended up being knocked out in the wild card round, I felt like it was basically a smooth ride for the Kansas City Chiefs, unless Andy Reid did something extremely boneheadish, like he usually does in the playoffs, where he ended up costing the Kansas City Chiefs the game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say it was a smooth ride for them, but they definitely showed heart. They showed heart throughout that entire playoff run. From the time
Well,
he just
I was gonna say that probably that of course they should have lost to the Texans. Well, really they should have lost to the Texans and the Titans if we're being completely honest, because
the Titan, bro, I bet like $200 on the Titans. If they would have won the Super Bowl, I'd have won like 20 grand. That's how much faith I had in the Tennessee Titans on that run. And all they had to do was just keep handing the ball off to, the hammer. They probably would have won the Super Bowl.
well they got a little bit predictable going into the second half because you forget they had like a 10-point lead with like 8 minutes left in the second quarter, so they could have went into halftime with the lead, and then of course the Kansas City Chiefs ended up scoring and ended up tying the ball game up before they even going into halftime. So
Even bigger than that, bro, the ultimate backbreaker for them, what shifted all the momentum was that one Patrick Mahomes run where they tried
yeah,
to strip him and he broke tackles and he showed that he can actually move and he freaking scored. He shifted all the momentum with that run.
yeah,
And
it was that
that
and
was
the
it.
inability for the Tennessee Titans to generate some type of pass rush on Patrick Mahomes, because every time they try to rush Patrick Mahomes, he either stepped up in the pocket, scrambled for extra yards, or he just had too much time in the pocket to just pick the Titans apart. So better luck next year, I guess. Tannehill had a
Listen,
sweet run.
I know, man. But listen, Mahomes is just another beast. I watched the Super Bowl and San Fran got pressure on him. The dude just kept making stuff happen. That's just the player he is. I mean,
I don't know about that, because if we go back and look at the Super Bowl, the 49ers, they had him. They had Patrick
yeah,
Mahomes.
they had him.
That,
They had Patrick Mahomes throughout the entire playoffs.
no,
If
not the
you
way
want
the
to,
Niners did. Like, you gotta think about it. They threw an interception in the fourth quarter, and all the 49ers had to do was run the clock out. That's all they had to do. That's all they had to do. So you think about it, if they just would have just ran the ball, don't get me on any in particulars, but there was one drive towards the end of the fourth quarter. So towards the end of the fourth quarter, excuse me, where it was a 1st and 10. They ended up picking up 7 yards with Mostert, I believe. And then second and 3, they decided to pass the ball. 3rd and 3, they passed the ball. Right then and there, I already knew Kyle Shanahan ain't learned his lesson. It's going to the Kansas City Chiefs so they get the ball back.
right. Well, even before the playoffs, before the entire season, I actually picked the Chargers to go to the Super Bowl and win it. And, to So what happened? The Chiefs end up going on that run. I thought that the Chargers would have been the team equipped to do that, but that didn't happen. Phillip Rivers didn't perform the season. Melvin Gordon had the contract thing. The big pieces got hurt. Derwin James got hurt. All type of stuff happened. So that didn't happen for them. And then actually in the playoffs, the team I thought was going to do it was Tennessee. They had the momentum. Like, if you'd have told me the Chiefs were going to do what they did, I would have said, nah, they'll probably lose. But they picked up big momentum, man, and they made it happen. Well deserved by Andy Reid, Mahomes, Kelsey, everybody. They worked their butts off of that Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I was extremely happy for Andy Reid because I was a huge Andy Reid and Donovan McNabb fan at the time. Like back then in the early 2000s, but you only had like a handful of black quarterbacks, so I was a huge Donovan McNabb fan. Wasn't really into Steve McNair like that, and Michael Vick. He was just coming into the league at the time, but I've always rooted for the Philadelphia Eagles and Donovan McNabb, Andy Reid on the side, on the down low, you know.
No, that's real. And Andy Reid's a heck of a coach, man, and he deserved that one. He deserved this one. He probably deserved the one when he played with T.O. and McNabb too. But I mean, stuff happens. Teams cheat. I mean, stuff happens.
It wasn't even just that. T.O. came out and said, I don't know if you heard that on their podcast, but he came out and said that Donovan, he decided he wanted to get drunk the night before and he threw up in the huddle during the Super Bowl. And that's not the first time I've seen Donovan throw up in the huddle. Well, I didn't exactly see him throw up in the huddle in the Super Bowl, but I seen him throw up in a game in 2006, 5 or 6 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the huddle. So I'm waiting for T.O. to tell the whole story about Donovan. Yeah, I'm waiting for T.O. to tell the whole story about Donovan as far as what he knows, because they got that feud just got revamped when Donovan went on Untold Stories. But yeah, speaking of quarterbacks, since we sit back and talk about the Tennessee Titans, Tannehill getting paid.
Tannehill deserved it. Tannehill came in, he saw opportunity, and he took it. You see, Marcus Mariota wasn't performing with the same group of guys around him. I don't know why some people just want to give all the credit to Derrick Henry, which the dude did his thing. They're not taking nothing from Derrick Henry at all, but let's give Ryan Tannehill credit where credit is due. Don't even talk about the guy that the Dolphins drafted and the Dolphins played with. Totally different guy than what we're seeing here in Tennessee.
I just want to give it a little bit of clarification real fast, because one of my biggest pet peeves is going out and watching, let's say, ESPN or Fox Sports, and how they just look at Ryan Tannehill as a quarterback. Now, the Miami Dolphins literally didn't have no offensive line to protect Ryan Tannehill through his whole tenure in Miami. We talk about head coaches like Joe Philbin. Where's Joe Philbin now? No head coaching job, right?
Right.
Multiple offensive coordinators, and then they just do not want to give Ryan Tannehill no type of credit whatsoever as far as his success with the Tennessee Titans. They just want to put it all on Derrick Henry. But they just watched the playoff games of the Tennessee Titans. They didn't watch from the time that he ended up starting in week 7 or 8, if I'm not mistaken, all the way up until that point.
I'm going to give you credit on that too. You called every last bit of that whole Tannehill situation.
Right. Now, if we was to, people want to sit back and talk about how great Derrick Henry played. If we want to be completely honest, Derrick Henry didn't even play that well when Marcus Mariota was in the lineup, to be fair.
That was my point to some people. I was just trying to say, you got the same group of guys around you. It ain't like you changed the scheme up, because really the same stuff you run with Mariota, you run it with Tannehill. They both mobile quarterbacks. You know what I'm saying? But for Tannehill to get in there and actually make it happen, You got to give that man credit where credit is due.
And I want to say for the folks at home that decided just to hop on the bandwagon with the whole Tennessee Titans thing and think that Derrick Henry did all the work, go back and look at the games against the New Orleans Saints when Derrick Henry wasn't playing. Go back and look at the game against the Kansas City Chiefs. Same season, the 2019 season, against the Kansas City Chiefs, where Ryan Tannehill put the team on his back and it did his thing in the fourth quarter. Like, it's just ridiculous to me how people just sit back and just perceive how Ryan Tannehill is. Oh, he played for the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins were unsuccessful. Yes, I get it. The quarterback position is the most important position in football, but in this case, you got to look at the pieces around Ryan Tannehill because his numbers could be a whole lot worse. Trust me, we've seen quarterbacks with a whole lot worse numbers than what Tannehill has produced over his tenure in Miami.
Right, but to his credit, man, I don't know. The Miami Dolphins have not made great moves in the past 2 decades. I'm gonna be real with you. The what's the best move they made before Tannehill? Before, like, I ain't gonna say he was a good move, but.
And are you talking about as far as signing him to the extension or drafting him?
Just drafting. What's the last great draft pick the Dolphins have had? Or the last great player that they've traded for? Like, the organization needs to step up. And honestly, looking at their free agent moves, which we'll get into in a little bit, it looked like they're actually starting to change a little bit. Yeah, I see better moves.
Well, when I'm looking at these free agents that the Miami Dolphins ended up signing, I see what they're trying to do here, but it goes back to last year when the Miami Dolphins ended up signing Brian Flores as their head coach and dropping Adam Gase. What they wanted to do was they wanted to build their roster through the draft and not be the main headliners in free agency. And so far, what are we looking at? 1, 2, 3, 4. So you got 4. So far, you have 4 free agent signings within the first day.
But it's not like they went out and got any old bum, any has been like they usually get. Ndamukong Suh or
no, I'm sorry, but the Ndamukong Suh, that boy, he was in his prime at that time.
Now to be prime right before he got there, bro. Don't do that.
He was. That was a great year the year before. I felt like he had a great year.
All right. So, like I was saying, the Dolphins didn't go get no washed up player. What I see is effort. I see them making efforts to actually get people that can come in and help them win games. Byron Jones, good move. I don't know if he's going to play corner or safety. I personally will put him at safety. But let's see what happens. Maybe they'll try to do a little Minkah Fitzpatrick thing, and it'll actually work with him. Kyle Van Noy is one of Brian Flores' guys, I think. I think he was there when they traded for him. Who else?
Oh, the Patriots. The Patriots ended up drafting him. Yeah.
No. The Lions drafted him. He was traded to the Patriots, and I think Flores was there when they won a Super Bowl with Van Noy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Interesting.
I mean, I could be off a little bit on that, but I think I'm pretty accurate on that. But yeah, I like the moves they made. Anyway,
I was gonna say, going back to that Byron Jones signing. By the way, it was a 5-year, $82.5 million deal. I'm not a fan of that deal. That's just me. I'm not a fan.
Why not?
I understand where we were going with this pickup because he's extremely versatile and he can play corner and safety, which is going to fit in that Brian Flores hybrid scheme. But for you to make him the highest paid corner right now, you just throwing money away.
Bro, that's what the Dolphins do best sometimes. Throw it away.
I'm to be honest, I thought we was gonna change that trend. That's what I
Like I
was
said, the
thinking.
past 2 decades, as long as I've been watching football, that trend has not changed. When
Oh
y'all
well.
get talent, y'all let it walk. And y'all bring in some washed up dude who y'all think is gonna save y'all, and then y'all pay people who do not need to be paid like that. Personally, I we'll have to see if that Byron Jones thing works out.
Let me ask you this: would you spend $82 million on a corner who hasn't had more than 3 interceptions in the past 3 years?
That mean they ain't throwing his way probably.
We don't know
Could
that.
be.
Nah,
Okay.
nah, nah.
Listen. I mean, I could be right.
I'm just, Wes. I'm just saying we haven't heard nothing about Byron Jones prior
Don't
to
even
this year.
don't even look his way. Don't try him.
I'm sorry, but have you seen him in the top 100? I haven't.
Uh,
He's supposed to be voted in by his peers. So with that being said, I haven't seen not one quarterback, not one, have
maybe
went
he's
on
a
the
little
show and said
underrated,
that.
bro. Maybe he's just a little underrated.
Underrated. I'm sorry, he's like the next Carlos Rogers right now.
All right. So would you have been just as mad or even madder if y'all had signed Xavier Rose right now, who had a terrible season, but I still kind of believe in him?
I believe in Xavier Rose too. I just think he needs a change of scenery. But really, when you look at Xavier Rose, if you can't work it out in a Mike Zimmer scheme, then I'm sorry, I don't think you could make it in any scheme. To be honest with you,
Man, that dude was a lockdown corner. He
well,
had a he had a down year.
or maybe he had something going on at home or something. Like maybe we should just go ahead and ask him see what's going on. Maybe that's what happened this year. But he just ain't look too good in the 2019 season.
Nah,
To be honest.
he really didn't, and you could tell during games he get frustrated, throwing his helmet like a bowling ball, screaming, all type of stuff. It's stuff you typically didn't see from him like before. You could see the frustration.
Or perhaps he was hurt and he just ain't tell nobody that he was hurt. But
Who knows? He's that good of a player to me that I give him the benefit of the doubt.
true that.
Anyway,
I did want to ask you about Minka though, because I heard y'all was trying to work out a new deal with him. Is that correct?
I'm not sure about that new deal. I'm not sure 100% on that, but
He was
why
in the
not?
headline. He was in the headline for his. He was coming out about his versatility. He wanted to be more versatile in your defense. That's what it
No,
was. Excuse me.
no. He didn't say that. Last time I was reading up on him, he said he didn't like how the Dolphins moved him around like that. He just want to play deep. And that brought out the best in him, which, you can't really argue that either. The dude made the Pro Bowl.
Or just right place at the right time type of situation. I would like to see it again. To be quite honest with you, I'm not sold on Mega
No,
Fitzpatrick just yet.
absolutely. I ain't 100% sold on
And
him either, but you can't deny that he didn't play a part in making that defense what it was.
And to be honest with you, I don't even know who that dude is at this point. Like I just had amnesia just now. Like I don't even know who is Minka Fitzpatrick.
Well, you gonna learn. You hold on. Did he play y'all? Did he play against y'all?
Did he get a pick? I think he did get a
Yes,
pick.
he had two.
He had a pick. Yeah,
I think he had two, and he had a pick six, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah. I'm so happy to see that. What was that, a Baltimore Raven who trucked him that one time? Yeah. This one time I actually was rooting for the Baltimore Ravens to do something. But he
Man,
trucked Minka Fitzpatrick. Yeah.
don't be a hater, man.
Ain't nobody being a hater, man.
This just in. Banks
If he-
reporting live. Stephon Diggs to Buffalo.
It just happened?
That's what Banks reported just now. Even though he ain't with us.
Banks is with us in spirit, but Stephon Diggs to the Buffalo Bills. He put something out on Twitter earlier today. He basically already knew he was going to be going after the Kirk Cousins deal.
I don't know if I like. I don't know if I like him to Buffalo though. Cause look, you got him and Smoke there who are pretty much the same dude.
Oh,
Honestly.
John Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Both
the Buffalo Bills,
both
they need receivers.
speedy route running guys, they could do it all.
They're little. They need a bigger receiver, even though Stephon's was like
That's what I'm
6 feet.
saying. I feel like they needed a different type of weapon there. Who knows? Maybe they got something they draft, to draft Chase Claypool or some crap. I don't know. We'll see.
I like the
And
move.
we'll see if it works out, man. I don't even like it for fantasy purposes, to be real, because Smokey has to get the ball. You still got a Cole Beasley over there. I think he was their leading receiver. No, Smokey was their leading receiver, but Cole
Washed
Beasley
up,
wasn't too
washed up
far
bum.
behind.
Cole Beasley, washed up bum.
Absolutely. Still catching balls though.
Uh,
I mean, I ain't a fan. I'm just saying, if he had like 70 catches, he putting in work.
I guess so. Let me ask you this: with Tannehill getting his deal, what do you think Dak Prescott should end up getting? Since the Dallas Cowboys just franchise tagged him today.
Dak probably should have took what they offered him, which was like I think it was 30 a year. Was it?
I
Do you
think it was like
remember?
108 in total,
Yeah, like 30 a year,
and
33 a year.
42 guaranteed, something like that.
I think he should have took that. I think he kind of tooting his own horn a little bit. You know what I mean?
Well,
He
I think
played.
if they didn't franchise tag him, I felt like a team was going to end up giving it to him. I'm so mad Banks isn't on here for this conversation because every time we just be sitting down, just be talking on our own personal time, like this conversation always comes up. But the thing is with Dak Prescott, numbers always lie with him. Like, I understand like he's been a top 10 quarterback over the past, 2 or 3 years. But like I said, numbers lie with him. Like, him coming into the league with a silver spoon in his mouth, not a lot of quarterbacks come into the league with the best offensive line and have the best running back. So I would expect Dak Prescott to be efficient. Now, when you look at it,
as Banks would say, you can't help who draft the man or what team he's on. Just gotta
that's
go out there and
true.
play.
That's true. But if you think about it, if he went to a lesser team, do you think he would have that same amount of production?
Like, can you imagine how much complaining we all would be doing if they had drafted Patrick Mahomes?
True.
It, we would be like, that is unfair.
True, but again, it still does not explain the fact why Dallas does not want to pay him as a top 5 quarterback.
Yeah, I don't get it, but maybe you're onto something there. Maybe the numbers just really don't tell the story because he balled out last year.
Got you.
But they did not win. They didn't win.
I didn't see no balling whatsoever. Look,
I
when
see
it
what
came
you did there.
when it came down to it, Wes, I'll just bring up the Philadelphia Eagles game, the second to last game of the season. The Eagles were dead.
The one they got whooped.
Yeah, well, the Eagles were dead. Like,
Yeah,
there
'cause
was
the
no.
first game, Dallas hammered them. But go ahead, the second game,
The Eagles were dead. They had all their players were hurt. Like, the Eagles were dead in the water. It was an easy walk away for the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas. In Dallas, was it in Dallas?
I can't remember. I believe that was in Philly.
Okay, well, in
No,
Philly
no,
or
no, no. I think they destroyed them in Philly and came back to Dallas.
okay. So basically, everything shifted in Dallas's favor. I saw overthrows by Dak Prescott, and I don't want to hear nobody that decides they want to comment on the podcast today, tomorrow, or ever to tell me that Dak Prescott was hurt. At the end of the day, if you suited up to play, you good to go. I don't want to hear nothing about no injury. So
I
at
don't know,
the
bro.
what you be y'all know? There is no I don't know. You suited up. You played. Like that, it goes back to what we were saying about Xavier Rhodes. He suited up, he played. We're gonna judge him on how he plays, regardless of what we know. But
I mean, we got to sit here and actually judge Cam too.
we could judge Cam all we want, but hey, I have him on my team.
Nah, man, I ain't gonna. I gotta give. If he actually hurt and go out there and tries to prove something to somebody, I mean, I gotta give him the benefit of the doubt, bro.
Oh well. Back to Dak Prescott, man. At the end of the day, Dallas knows what they got, and they gonna pay him accordingly. Now, unfortunately, he didn't sign that first contract, so he's gonna be sitting with that franchise tag. And I believe the franchise tag is over $20 million for the quarterback. So based off of what he's gotten so far as a quarterback in the NFL, that's a pretty steep chunk of change that he's about to get. So I wouldn't complain if I was Dak, to be honest, because way more than what he ended up getting over the past 4 years. But at the same time, you're kind of risking the possibility of not being signed to a multi-million-dollar deal because of the fact you can risk injury or his play could digress. So that's also something else you should want to look at as far as moving forward if he was Dak Prescott.
All right. I mean, it's a great chance of that, but yeah, I mean, we'll see, bro. That's the beauty of the off season. We gotta wait and see.
Yeah, we gotta wait and see. But how long are we gonna have to wait and see? That's the real question.
Until you step on the field with that franchise tag and get hurt.
I think he'll sit out. I really do.
Well, while he sits out, I mean, who do they have?
Well, they got time. We just started free agency, so I'm pretty sure they can go on free agency and pick up somebody.
Yeah.
Or try to go in the draft and find the next Dak Prescott.
Jalen Hurts.
Oh gosh, don't tell me you one of those.
I like Jalen Hurts, dude. I hope the Steelers draft him. I hope they do.
Jalen Hurts. So that means you don't believe in Mason Rudolph.
Mason Rudolph.
Okay, so let me put this in perspective for you. Let's just put everything on the table.
I thought I did.
Regardless of the fact if he possibly have muttered the N-word to Myles Garrett, I don't think that's true.
The first thing came to my head, though.
I knew it. I knew it.
That excluded, that whole ordeal excluded. Mason Rudolph didn't show me nothing that says I can even be a number 2. Honestly, he didn't show me nothing. You know who's a great number 2? Charlie Batch.
Charlie Batch.
Matt Moore was a great number 2. Who else? Case Keenum. Speaking of, Case Keenum just signed with the Browns. I was talking with one of my boys earlier. That's gonna light a fire. It's supposed to light a fire under your boy Baker, man.
That ain't my boy. I don't believe in Baker. I'm not even a fan of Baker. I don't even like when he comes up on a podium.
All right, I ain't even gonna say Baker then. I'm gonna say that guy.
Yeah, that guy.
That's supposed to light a fire under that guy. Because it's no more excuses now for the offense not to be successful. They just signed Austin Hooper, dude. Top 5 tight end in the league, if not top 3. Like,
well, that's big because I thought Njoku. What's that dude's first name?
Njoku is still there. David Njoku is still there.
Yeah, but he's been having consistency issues with drops. So if he can get that thing going, get it together. Let me say that. Get it together.
Regardless if he has drops, it's way too many weapons for Baker not to be successful. Right.
I think Jarvis may be gone.
Nah, Jarvis ain't going nowhere. Not this season.
Yeah, he's gone. I think he's done.
I
I
think they
don't think he
should
want
get
to be
rid of
there.
Odell before they get rid of Jarvis, honestly, because it seemed like Jarvis is having more production over there. I don't know if it's because he was there longer or what. Not saying Odell is the problem, but it seems like Jarvis is already, snugged into their scheme.
True. Again, it was also that speculation that Odell was possibly hurt too. I think he was playing with a sports hernia.
Mm, that would be something.
You know what was crazy
If
though?
if all the yeah.
Right before the Browns and Dolphins game, they made it very, very. They made the point to talk about Odell and how he hasn't scored a touchdown in the season yet. Now at the time, I was at the point of being fed up with watching Miami Dolphins games. I ain't even gonna lie to you. There was a point where I literally stopped watching. I just checked in from time to time. Like, it was just ugly. Like, it just wasn't looking too good. Defensively was terrible. Like, I don't understand why you are manning up across the board with third street corners. But getting off topic. Anyway, so going into that game, Odell didn't score no touchdowns. And I'm thinking to myself, watch, this is going to be the game where Odell's going to end up scoring like, what, 2 or 3 touchdowns, go for 100 yards. And guess what?
First play bomb.
Like, Jarvis and Odell literally just murdered the Miami Dolphins secondary. It was just
Don't worry,
ridiculous.
that wasn't the only team. They did the Steelers like that too. First play bomb. like they was out there playing mad.
I'm just saying, like, whenever it comes down to a statistical category that a team is worse at, the Dolphins seem to be the guinea pig for them to be able to make that a strength.
Not gonna lie, the Dolphins do look like that dude that you skip in line, or you
Pick last in playing a sport
you
in a
holler at
pickup
his
game.
girl. You holler at his girl when he's sitting right there in front of you, staring at you. That's the Dolphins.
Yeah, I don't go that hard to do something like that, but
Bruh, the Dolphins, they doormats. Until they change the culture, man, like I've been saying for years, they just gonna be the doormat, the league doormats. Think about who's the second worst team right now. Oh, actually, you know what? The Bengals are
who's
the
the
worst
first
team.
worst team?
The Bengals.
I was about to say, I cannot believe you just sat back and put the Miami Dolphins in the category of being the first worst.
I'm so used to saying the Dolphins are the worst, but it's the Bengals right
So
now.
we just going to exclude the Cleveland Browns out of this conversation.
The Browns are not. I don't think they're top 5 worst. They might be 6 or 7.
I think the Dolphins are better than the Browns.
Survey says they are not.
And the Redskins? So you take the Redskins over the Dolphins too?
No. No.
Or the Giants? You take the Giants?
Yes.
What? Why?
Didn't they beat y'all?
Barely. But why?
Well, the Patriots barely won 6 Super Bowls.
No, we beat the
Wrong.
Giants. We beat the Giants.
I'm pretty sure Darius Slayton had a great game, so did Golden Tate, and they whooped y'all.
No, you smoking some good guns. We beat the Giants.
Am I wrong?
We did. I think we beat the Giants. That was like, I'm lucky I don't know exactly, because that was probably around the time where I was like, you know what, it's hard being a Miami Dolphin fan right now. So I probably didn't even pay it no mind for real. Like, I was still watching, but I ain't really paying no mind.
I mean, I could be wrong, but the Dolphins, though, y'all been doormats for years. This is about time for that to change, man. I'm hoping it changes so I can root for the home team. Born and raised.
They lost. You're right. They lost. They lost 36-20. But look what the Dolphins had, and they got their 5 dubs though.
I mean,
it's gonna be beautiful 2020.
We gonna see, man. We gonna see. I mean,
2020 is the Dolphins' year.
don't do that.
I
Please
was
don't
so
do y'all do this every year, bro.
no, this gonna be the Dolphins' year, most definitely. I feel something different in the air right now, and it ain't the coronavirus, but I feel something different in the air right now.
Oh, speaking of Corona shutting everything down, man, they shutting down all the sports. They shutting down all off season. They
That's
not
what I'm
even gonna
saying.
have a
Like
draft. And
when we gonna have the draft? Yeah, how we gonna have the draft?
they say they're gonna televise it. So the cameraman got to be sitting a certain space away from the guy holding the card, sitting in a bubble with an oxygen tank.
So I'm guessing they go test everybody that's about to be in the auditorium before they start the NFL draft. Correct?
Yeah, I don't think the players are actually gonna be there though.
Interesting. Very interesting. I'll tell you a true story though. Saturday morning, I usually wake up probably around like 1 o'clock in the morning to check on the kids. So I go over to the other room real quick, and I woke my daughter up for her to go to the bathroom, right? So then after that, I went back to bed, and I felt my wife, right, and she was feeling extremely hot.
Oh
And
man,
yeah, I was concerned. I'm like, oh, hold up. So I got up real quick, got the thermometer, tapped her on her shoulder, like, wake up. We gotta take your temperature. So the temperature came out to be like 112. So it's like,
yeah,
up,
right.
get up, let's go. We said, where we going? We going to the doctor. So we drove at like 1 o'clock in the morning, like woke up all the kids, woke up and drove all the way to the doctor at 1 o'clock in the morning. Luckily it wasn't the coronavirus, but that joint is serious, man. No bull.
Yeah, that's that's really serious. 112. I ain't talking peaches and cream.
And like having to deal with the kids being home 8 straight weeks like that, man. Ain't no joke.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move forward on to another subject. Let's talk about the new CBA that was proposed. Couple quick specs. You now have a 14-team playoff, meaning only one team in each conference gets a bye. And now you have 2 extra playoff teams per conference. So you have 3 matchups in the wild card, basically, as opposed to 4.
That's got me thinking for a second. Like, how would they televise that?
You gonna have 3 different slots. Somebody gonna play at 1, somebody gonna play at 4, somebody gonna play at 8. And you also got 2 different days to, you know what I'm saying, work with. Saturday and Sunday, which they usually do for wild cards. So that could be worked out. So you now have a 14-team playoff they agreed to. Also got a 17-game regular season, which I don't think it'll begin this year. It'll begin next year. And that will end in 2023. So they're going to try it out for 2 years and see what happens with that. Also, there will be an increased game day roster size from 46 active to 48 players. And you must have 8 offensive linemen. 2,
That's, 4,
that's
6,
a weird
8,
little
10. So I was saying, like, you have two left tackles, 2 left guards, 2 centers, 2. That's over 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Now
you probably
yeah,
gonna
that's
have
10.
three guards, 4 tackles in the center, because guards can play center most of the time too.
True. To be honest with you, I'm not really big on a versatile offensive lineman. Like, I just want them to be stagnant at one position. Speaking of which, Eric Flowers, don't like that pickup. But
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
trash right there. But
that
pay
like
pay attention. Pay attention to a guy who's drafted that played guard. They will move him to center and vice versa.
I don't know. Maybe I have too much experience with playing musical chairs on the offensive line.
All right. Anyway, the most the most interesting spec of the new CBA, marijuana. A positive marijuana test will not get you suspended, sorry, in the NFL now. I know Josh Gordon and Martavis Bryant are punching the air right now over this. But it's okay now. Now it's legal.
Now his last suspension, was that indefinitely or was that just for the remainder of the 2019 season?
It was probably indefinitely, bro, because think about how many times.
But wouldn't you have to lift it at this point because you're allowed to do it now?
That would make sense, but I mean, maybe that wasn't in the CBA. Like, we don't have to forgive you for prior offenses. That would make sense, though. You're right.
Oh well, I guess we'll find out moving forward. It's only like what 3 days fresh right now, so we'll
Uh,
see moving towards training camp how that unfolds.
yeah. Speaking of unfolding, let's talk about some of these free agent moves. The Texans uh, and other moves they did aside from that dumb one earlier today, giving away DeAndre Hopkins. They brought back AJ McCarron. Oh, they do that.
I don't think AJ McCarron's a bad quarterback, to be honest. I think he's a pretty decent starter in this league. Just been on some pretty bad teams.
Maybe, just maybe they brought him back because they know without DeAndre Hopkins, Deshaun Watson is going to have to work 10 times harder, and there's a chance he might get hurt. So bring in AJ McCarron.
Uh I think it was more. I think it was a more focused thing on trying to bring back Laramie Tunsil at that point, and then you look at the Houston Texans, and as far as the receiver position, you still have Kenny Stills and Will Fuller, but they're not as reliable as DeAndre Hopkins. So yeah, I could see where that is, but honestly, at this point,
Don't forget Kiki QT either.
yeah, Kiki QT. So they have three reliable receivers right now. So
But I'm not giving away the best in the league. I'd rather trade all three of them.
I
Have them
wouldn't
line up.
either. I wouldn't either, especially since he was still under he just got a new contract. He's still under contract until 2022. So, but that's a huge chunk of change, though. That's a huge chunk of change.
That man worked for that, man. That man is the best receiver in the league. Him and Julio Jones is really a toss up, but he worked up to that to where he is.
And it's crazy how finally that the Houston Texans finally got a quarterback for him for DeAndre Hopkins for to catch the football from, and they decided they want to trade him.
Yeah, man.
I always said it from the jump that said ever since DeAndre Hopkins first got his first 1,000-yard season that he was the best receiver in football. People underrated him a little bit because they was too busy looking at Antonio Brown, Julio Jones, Odell Beckham, but I don't think Odell Beckham is a top 5 receiver in this league. But he's been
Talent
getting it done
wise,
with bum
talent wise,
quarterbacks.
he's still top five talent wise, dude. But
How do we know? How do we know that?
you're right. That's just my personal opinion.
I'm just saying, how do we know that at this point? Because he
Because
had
at
one
first,
miraculous catch. That's it. He hasn't done and two
not
thousand
even.
yard seasons, if that.
I mean, like at first, I was my initial, portrayal of him was the guy who had all the talent but just wouldn't shut up and play. But then, after these couple years, he ain't been making all that noise, and he ain't really been balling like he was at first.
Oh,
I
excuse me.
always
You had more
said,
than two. You
yeah,
actually had
but
a sneaky 1,000 yards this past year with the Cleveland Browns. I'm shocked.
yeah, he probably got 500 of those on Pittsburgh and Miami.
Probably did. Only 4 TDs. Two of those came against the Dolphins.
But like I was saying, at first I thought he could have been better than Antonio Brown was if he just, just play football. But now look, the tables have turned.
Antonio Brown will be back.
I hope so.
Oh, you miss him? You want Pittsburgh to bring him back?
I don't think there's a chance he's going back to Pittsburgh.
Well, they was talking about it last year, so.
Man, they'll lift this quarantine tomorrow before they bring him back to Pittsburgh.
I wanted to get back to this DeAndre Hopkins trade real fast.
Right.
They traded him for David Johnson and a 2021 second round pick.
Yeah, pretty much.
I wouldn't mind the trade. I wouldn't mind the trade if it was for something else outside of David Johnson and this 2021 second round pick.
Well, I guess they felt like the running game wasn't where it needed to be. And why not get a guy who possibly could, elevate your running game? And to be honest, their receivers aren't that bad, like you said, but I personally wouldn't give away DeAndre Hopkins. They feel like they can do without him.
At this point, when you look at the Houston Texans, this is why we should have got AJ involved in this, because he's that.
Don't worry, we're going to get AJ. We're gonna give him that gas.
Yeah, at this point, like if you look at the 2019 season for the Houston Texans, they lost Lamar Miller early to an ACL injury, and then they ended up
didn't really matter. I feel like it would have been the same thing. It's not like Duke Johnson or Carlos Hyde was running hard, but honestly, they all on the same tier with what the Texans wanted them to do. Like they didn't have like a major receiving back. They ran Duke Johnson. Even though Duke Johnson is a hell of a receiver, they ran him.
Are you saying that because he's from Miami, or are you saying that because he actually did run it?
Nah, he was running it.
I keep forgetting who I'm talking to, because Banks, he will size the hell out of a Miami player. If they're not a Miami Dolphin player, they're his player.
Well, I mean, shit, Duke Johnson. I still feel like he just never got his shot to own the backfield.
Oh my God. Just let it go. At this point, just let it go. With the Cleveland Browns had to share the backfield with Isaiah Crowell, and who's the other guy?
Terrence West.
And then now we're with the Houston Texans, and now Carlos Hyde seemed like to be the better back. I'm sorry. That's it for him.
All right, bro, moving on. Marcus Mariota closing in on a deal with the Raiders. Does that mean Derek Carr time is about up?
I think they'll bring in Marcus Mariota to compete for the job, but them moving to Las Vegas, they need the Las Vegas fan base to be excited about something, and it's Marcus Mariota, even though he's been pretty washed up since he came into the league. But we'll see.
The Bears. Jimmy Graham signs a 2-year, $16 million deal with $9 million guaranteed.
Not going to be much of a difference, to be honest with you, because if you can't be productive with Aaron Rodgers, you can't be productive with Mitchell Trubisky.
Touche.
I'm just gonna say, like, when I was watching Green Bay Packers games and I saw Aaron Rodgers throw the ball to Jimmy Graham did some of the most unnecessary things. Like, I swear he was just trying to just go up and catch one-handed passes, because every time I saw him open in the end zone, I saw that one hand go up like he tried to catch it one-handed. So
shit kind of old, bro. Maybe he can't get to that bit. Maybe he really had to stretch for one hand.
Yeah, and having a 5'10" corner guard him. So yeah, at this point, I just think he's just up there in age, and I don't see him being that productive with the Chicago Bears.
Well, we will see. Even though I think the Bears probably need to go in another direction at quarterback.
I heard they was looking into trading for Nick Foles or Andy Dalton.
Andy Dalton would probably be the better option.
I just want Andy Dalton to go to the Patriots. I don't want him to go there.
And by the way, who had a better season out of the Steelers and the Bengals?
It's unfortunate, but you was right. But to be honest with you, the Cincinnati Bengals aren't as bad as what people think they are.
West 1, DeVore 0. Who had a better season than Antonio Brown and Juju Smith?
I wouldn't even count that because that wouldn't really.
What?
That would. I'm sorry. We gotta check the tape on that because I don't really think I actually came out and said I think Antonio Brown gonna have a better season than Juju Smith-Schuster. Did I say that?
For nothing, bro.
Was it West that said? I mean, not West. Banks said that, I think. And then it somehow just like, it just got franchise tagged onto me.
Listen, bro, I wouldn't bring up nobody else beef with you, bro. This between me and you.
I know. I think you got it mistaken with what you and Banks was talking about. Not what me and you was talking about.
All right. We gonna roll back on that. We gonna carry that one over to another episode. Anyway, we got to go back and check the tape on that.
Yeah, let's check the tape on that because I really don't. But I don't remember exactly what was said at that particular time, except for the fact I just took the Bengals to be over the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Sucker.
It's all good though. The Bengals will be back.
They might be. I'm kind of excited to see what Burrow gonna do. You know they're gonna draft him. The Colts.
I don't know. I hope. You know what I was thinking? I'm really hoping that the Cincinnati Bengals draft Chase Young, and that just screws up the whole draft. Because at that point, I don't want to watch the Redskins to get another Ohio State player. I don't.
Yeah, that would definitely screw up the whole draft. I don't think it's happening though.
I hope it does.
The Colts are probably going to land Phillip Rivers, but we're going to have to wait on that. In the meantime, they sent a 2020 first-round pick to the 49ers for all-pro defensive tackle, DeForest Buckner. Heck of a pickup by them guys. They got a heck of a D tackle.
Yeah, there are some San Francisco 49er fans out there. Well, majority of them out there. They're not very happy about that. They really prefer that they got rid of Eric Armstead than DeForest Buckner because DeForest Buckner's been there longer and he's been productive.
They had 4 first-round picks on their entire D-line. You can't keep them all there. You can't pay them all.
Yeah, true that. But you got to look at who was the more productive player over the course of the past, 4 or 5 years? And it's been DeForest Buckner. Like, DeForest Buckner's been there before they had Dee Ford and before they had Bosa.
I forgot about Dee Ford. I didn't even count him.
Yeah, Dee Ford's there. So you gotta think of it from that perspective. Like, what was DeForest Buckner was extremely productive before they ended up coming there. And I believe there was a season a couple years back where I really thought he should have made a Pro Bowl, but due to popularity issues, he didn't end up making it.
Right.
So,
and I think they're gonna lose another defensive lineman also. I was reading up on that earlier. I think one of their other first rounder D linemen are on a trade block. Former Steelers defensive tackle Javon Hargrave went to the Eagles, signed with the Eagles.
Real quick, because this just came to my phone just now.
What's up?
So the Vikings get 4 picks for Stephon Diggs. The Vikings are going to get a 2020 first, 5th, 6th, and 2021 4th-round pick, while the Bills receive Stephon Diggs and a 2020 7th-round pick.
Buffalo is tripping.
Yeah, something ain't right with that. Also, one more thing just happened too as well. That while I was looking at when we was talking, the Cowboys and Amari Cooper agreed to a 5-year, $100 million deal.
Well, Amari got paid.
Yep. So, like I said, it goes back to Dak Prescott again. Like, they obviously see something in Dak that they are not satisfied with, and they do not want to pay him top dollars.
I honestly think he asked for a lot more than he's gonna get.
Well, granted, you got to look at the resume. You know, offensive rookie of the year, went to the playoffs 2 times, but we got to read in between the lines here. What is the real reason why you were so successful?
Oh, the O-line and the running game. Right.
Thank
Got
you.
I see what you did there.
That's all I've been saying over the past year to Banks, but it's like talking to a wall.
Well, that's kind of it's kind of hypocritical if you're gonna say that, bro.
No, it ain't. Say why?
Because now you got to look at Ryan Tannehill and say, why was he so productive? You understand?
Like
what I'm
I
saying?
said,
You can't really say that with that.
Look at the games, man. Look at the games. I just gave you games. Look at the regular season game against the Kansas City Chiefs. Look at the regular season game against the New Orleans Saints. Like, there have been games where he's been able to hold the Titans in the game. And again, it goes back to what we were saying with the whole Marcus Mariota situation. Why wasn't Derrick Henry successful running the football when Marcus Mariota was in there?
Well, there have been games where Dak Prescott goes out there and throw 4 touchdowns for 300 yards.
And lose. No,
I'm talking about winning, like blowing people doors off. Early in the season, they was blowing people doors off, man.
They didn't play nobody, though. That's the thing. They didn't play nobody.
Listen, bro. Your NFL team, you got 22
I don't know.
players,
Hell
like
no.
I got 22 players.
Oh, hell no. No, we're not even going to take it there. Because the same thing with the New England Patriots. They didn't play anybody. And then
I'm glad you brought that up.
as soon as they started playing some serious competition, guess what? They ended up losing the first seed and the bye. They ended up having to play in the wild card.
My dog, you passed the test. That was just a test. I just want to see if you was woke.
I'm woke. But going back to the Dallas Cowboys, look who. I'm about to tell you right now who they played in their first 4 games of the season. They played the New York Giants. They blew them out 35-17. They played the Washington Redskins. They won 31-21. They played the Dolphins and they won 31-6. Now, this is why I think that Dak Prescott should not be getting paid, because they end up going to New Orleans and facing the New Orleans Saints without Drew Brees, and you end up losing 12-10. Y'all should have won that game. Okay. Right. Against the Green Bay Packers. It's understandable. You're playing Aaron Rodgers in the Green Bay Packers. I wasn't expecting you to win that game, but didn't get it done. So next up, you have the New York Jets. Now, mind you, Sam Darnold just comes back from mono. You lose to the New York Jets.
They got destroyed. I remember.
Yes. Well, they didn't get destroyed. It came down to the wire. But the referees in that game literally gave Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys so many opportunities to win that game. 24-22.
I think they were getting destroyed in the beginning of that game.
They were, and that's what I said. Numbers lie with Dak Prescott because they're too busy trying to throw their way back into the game in the fourth quarter, and that's where all them 400-yard gains keep coming from, because it all ends up being garbage time yards.
I remember that. I remember they were losing because I had Amari Cooper on my fantasy team. Now ask yourself this: is that a game script issue? Because Dak can throw the ball, dog.
No, he cannot. No, he cannot throw. He has a terrible deep ball. Okay, I don't like his deep ball at all.
You crazy. You must ain't see what he was dropping dimes on Amari Cooper and Michael Gallup deep all season.
No, he was not. Look at that game against the Philadelphia Eagles. Terrible.
You better look at them highlights.
I don't need to look at nothing. I sit back and see. I see all I needed to see from Dak Prescott. He is not a top 10 quarterback.
Okay, let's say he wasn't a top 10 quarterback. Let's say his arm was a noodle, can't throw deep, whatever. Is that his fault that they didn't get the running game going with 2 good running backs? Wait, 1 great running back? One good running back.
Are you saying the running game wasn't going with the Dallas Cowboys? Is that what you're saying?
You shouldn't need to throw the ball 40 times a game if you got a great running game.
I don't think that's the Ezekiel Elliott's problem. Hand the ball up to Zeke. Why
Is
are
is
we
that a play call thing or is that a Dak thing?
at the end of the day, he's making the checks at the line, so I think that's a Dak Prescott thing.
Wait, you telling me just because your coach told you to go out there in the shotgun and you don't want to check down to the run, why the coach couldn't just send you out in the I form, line it up with the best offensive line in the league, win at the line?
Well, that's a good question. Why they decide to give the ball to Tony Pollard? I thought Ezekiel Elliott was the bell cow back. Why are we taking him out of the game? Why are we messing up his flow?
You
I
got
don't
two
know
good
why.
backs, you use them.
Why is the sky blue? I don't know. I'm just telling you what I see.
Right. Well, anyway, I told y'all Paulo was gonna be pretty good, and if anything happened to Zeke, I think they're in good hands.
Nothing's going to happen to Zeke. I think Zeke is a beast.
Pump the
And
brakes. Pump the brakes.
he's a beast.
Listen,
What you mean pump the brakes?
when you're a beast like that, you can only go for so long before little nicks start building up on you. I called the Alvin Kamara injury. I can't believe my stupid self ain't stick with my plan for fantasy, which is why I lost. But anyway, that's another story for another time. I knew Kamara couldn't handle that workload. I knew he was finna get hurt. I even called the Sean McCoy injury the previous season. You know who next?
Who's next?
I'm finna
Derrick
call
Henry?
it right now. I just don't think he's gonna have another good season like that. I said Christian McCaffrey is gonna be next.
No.
Listen, the dude obviously on steroids or something, but it's no way you can handle that workload like that and just keep going. That dude is a freaking machine, dog. And for my money, I think the little nicks and injuries gonna start building up. He gonna have to take time off.
I'm going to quote you on that. I'll make some timestamp that we're going to revisit this definitely at the end of the 2020 season.
Bet.
But
It's just
I
a
don't
little
see that.
prediction. That's just something I see, bro. I see stuff different than you see, than Bank see, than other people see. I just see way too much, and he handled it. Man, he handled it like a little machine last year.
I guess time will most definitely tell about that on that one.
Dog, if he ain't on roids, I just don't know. He was made in a lab or something. I mean, his dad was pretty big. Ed McCaffrey was like 6'5", 230, but he ain't even that big, and he just played big. This year, he was trucking people, stiff arming them. Like I seen him like evolve into something different this season.
Again, time will tell about that one, but did we cover every free agency move yet?
Most of them. Calais Campbell to the Ravens.
That was a sneaky move.
That was really sneaky of them. They also signed Michael Brockers.
Oh, they did.
Yes.
Oh, they're getting stuff done over there, huh?
They got another linebacker. I forgot who it was, but they've been getting real sneaky. I think they're going after Corey Littleton too.
Linebacker.
Yep, linebacker from the Rams.
Interesting. Oh, well.
Now watch Xavier Rhodes end up over there in Baltimore. Even though they got Marlon Humphrey and Marcus Peters already. I wonder if it'd be a good safety.
Xavier?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think you gotta be a better tackler than that. I don't think Xavier Rhodes is a decent tackler.
Yeah, I suppose.
Well, what we have coming up next? We only a day in the free agency already.
Oh, wait. Yeah. 1 day in. I remember what we didn't cover.
What's that?
let's pick one team from each division that that you think one team from each division that you think will surprise this year.
Okay.
One from the AFC, one from the NFC. Who you got?
The NFC. I have the Buccaneers.
Why?
I think honestly they're a quarterback and a running back away from being a Super Bowl contender. And Bruce Arians. I'm a believer in Bruce Arians. Whether it be Jameis Winston, if they decide to bring him back, or Tom Brady, I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will be a contender.
Just a quarterback and a running back. Forget the whole defense.
They have a great defense. I think they were top 10 in defense.
I remember now. I think the Ravens were chasing JPP also. Right now in free agency.
Interesting. Now, as far as the AFC, because I know we have to wrap this up, I'm gonna go with the Miami Dolphins. I don't even know why you even decided to ask me that question.
I don't know either, man. That was wild.
Who you got?
All right, NFC. Let's see, NFC. I got Minnesota. Surprising people, going deep into the playoffs, possibly Super Bowl run. Why? Because last year was supposed to be their time. They folded. Who knows? Maybe Stephon Diggs was the issue. No, just joking.
Diggs. Just joking. I cannot stand it with everybody when they sit back and just blame Kirk Cousins for their problems.
Whoa, no, hold on. Kirk Cousins is the dump down king now.
What?
Dump down king. Dump it down.
I'll take Kirk Cousins on basically almost any quarterback in the league right now except for Patrick Mahomes.
Man, all right.
I'm just saying I would.
You taking him over Breeze, Rodgers?
Yep, I would.
All right, anyway. You made me want to change my team now, bro.
You said what? Make you change your team for what?
Yeah. I don't think they finna surprise nobody just because of Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins is a beast. I don't know how many times I got to tell y'all this. Kirk Cousins is a beast.
Remember he disappeared for them like 2 or 3 games? Couldn't nobody find him? And Stephon Diggs finally said something and started getting the ball.
Stephon Diggs a crybaby. That's why he up out of there.
I mean, what happens when you don't cry, though? That means you ain't showing enough emotion and all this other crap.
He was crying. I remember in that playoff game against the New Orleans Saints, they're clearly winning the game. Why are we crying about you not getting the ball?
And look, that's the heart of a champion. You want the ball. And
you're winning. I can understand if you were losing, but you're winning. Why are we crying?
All right. Anyway, moving forward. Out the AFC, I got the Buffalo Bills surprising people, which really ain't a surprise because they were a good team. They had a good defense, solid run game.
They got lucky.
Really?
They got lucky last year. They're not going anywhere. As long as Josh Allen is their quarterback, they're not going anywhere.
As long as he don't fold.
Josh Allen is not as good as people will make people think about him. I don't like him at all. He's not an accurate passer. He runs the ball too much. Either.
You know who he is? You know who Josh Allen is? Josh Allen is Ryan Tannehill.
No, he's not. He is not Ryan Tannehill.
Same dude.
They're not the same dude. I can't believe you just disrespected my guy right there.
It's the same dude, man. Anyway, I like their team. I like what they did last year. I feel like they're going.
That was the flukiest season I have ever seen in my life, the Buffalo Bills. It's not even funny. It's just one of those teams that just ended up just got a little bit of confidence off of a couple of wins, and it just carried over. And it's just they just got so lucky. I'm just saying, they just got so lucky.
That's what it's about, though. In the playoffs, well, even getting to the playoffs, it's about carrying that momentum over.
I guess so. I guess so. So let
Look
me
at
let
the
me get this
Chiefs.
straight.
Halfway through the season, the Chiefs hadn't lost a couple games. They lost Patrick Mahomes, lost Tyreek Hill. I know people was counting them out. They got them boys back, got that momentum rolling, and it was over. It was lights out. That's what it's all about, dog. Momentum.
I guess so. So let me recap this real fast. You said the Minnesota Vikings for the NFC is going to be a surprise team, and
Yep.
for the AFC you have
The Buffalo Bills.
the Buffalo Bills.
Right.
Okay. Again, we're just only a day into free agency. I'm expecting a lot more things to happen within the next 24 hours or so. It's going to be exciting to see. But we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. We're like an hour and 10 minutes in the pod.
We back, y'all. We back.
Great way to start off. Great way to come back. Excuse me, not start off. Great way for us to come back. But this is the Not for Debate podcast. Wes, did you want to sit back and add anything?
It's 2020. We back in here. Banks will be back with us soon. We're gonna have a whole crew back. We're gonna have guests on. Y'all just keep an ear out for us. And it's all type of crazy stuff going on right now. We probably not gonna be able to leave the house.
Yeah, we're going to be stuck in the house. Exactly. We're going to be stuck in the house actually doing absolutely nothing.
I don't think we're gonna have a choice but to record, so y'all be on the lookout for that.
And with that being said, this is the Not for Debate team. We out.